We know that all of our shorelines are facing some kind of erosion, and that they're facing different forms of erosion based on which coast they are. So we are going to focus in this video on different ways that people can deal with these different erosional issues. In order to deal with all of these different erosional issues, humans have tried to come up with ways to stabilize the shoreline, or to reduce the amount of erosion so that their beaches will remain the same over longer periods of time. And a lot of these features that we've created are called hard stabilization techniques. These are building hard structures, typically out of concrete, that are meant to be more permanent. These hard features generally are meant to last maybe a few years or a couple decades. They are more permanent than our soft features, which will only last a year or two. But we're going to look at 3 different types of hard stabilization features. And the first is a groin, which you can see in this upper right image. And a groin is where we built a cement feature that juts out into the ocean at a right angle or a 90-degree angle to the beach. And the whole purpose of these groins is to trap sand between them, so it's naturally adding sand to the beach instead of that sand being moved away by the waves. The second structure that we like to build are called breakwaters that you can see in this middle image. These are still concrete barriers, but now they're built parallel to our shoreline instead of at a 90-degree angle to it. And the whole reason for these breakwaters is, as the name suggests, it's an area for the water to break against instead of the waves breaking against the coastline itself. It's just going to reduce the energy of the water before it gets closer to shore. And our final hard stabilization technique is called a seawall. And this is where we just build a short wall, usually 5, maybe 10 feet at maximum, that's going to help protect the coast from the waves. But here it's usually not super effective, and these walls can break down in just a few years. Hard stabilization techniques are really quick and they're really cheap. We just use cement to build areas to protect our shoreline. But they're also very ugly. If you're building a $3 million house, you don't want to see tons and tons of concrete in the ocean. So there are other things that we can do to help protect our sea lines from erosion. One of these is called beach nourishment. And this is where we take sand and we add it to the beach. We're not doing anything to reduce the amount of erosion, but instead we're just adding more sand to the beach, knowing that that sand is going to be eroded over time and be taken somewhere else. This is the most common stabilization technique here in Florida because a lot of our income as a state comes from tourists. We want these gorgeous beaches where people will want to spend their vacations. So instead of filling our oceans with cement structures, we spend literally billions of dollars getting sand and dumping it on our beaches. Another thing that we're commonly doing is we're just simply moving any kind of structure or building farther away from the beach or farther away from those breaking waves.